So let us move to the further. What was our last class concept? Hmm? Right. So packages concept done. Have you executed packages concept? Got results? Don't sit that corners. So now move this side. So let me see all of you. If you sit in the corners and everywhere, it's a problem all the times. Okay, now today I'm going to talk about another concept which I'm introducing, which are very, very important. Exception handling I'm going to discuss. I'm going to start the very important concept, exception handling we are going to enter. So, so here, exception handling in Python. This is the most important topic, student. So most important again. So here we are going to discuss the index. So index will take some time to write it. Now I will take my original index, what I used to take up here. So I'll go to my regular session. So there I'm going to show you exception handling index I'm going to show. Try to follow this. Try to understand this index now. Start with. So purpose of exception handling, types of errors, what is exception, what is exception handling, building points of exception handling, types of exceptions, predefined exceptions, also called pre-built-in exceptions we can call, programmer or user or custom defined exceptions, programming example. This is a concept part that we'll discuss now. Handling the exception or keywords required for handling of exceptions. Handling the exception or keyword required for hand, handling the exceptions. Try, except, else, finally, raise. Even Java also will contain try, catch, catch. There we are having throw, throws, finally. These are the keywords in exception handling of Java, which you studied in your college days. And no student knows about it. No student knows. Why? But faculty only don't know what is the meaning. So how student will know? That is the main point. వాళ్ళకు రాదు మీకు ఎట్లా వస్తుంది వాళ్ళు కూడా రాని వాళ్ళలాగానే సో నౌ హియర్ వీఆర్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్ నెక్స్ట్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఫార్ దీస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ కీవర్డ్స్ ఐఎమ్ టెల్లింగ్ అబౌట్ 22 పాయింట్స్ అబౌట్ దిస్ ఎంటైర్ థింగ్ హౌ దే ఆర్ వర్కింగ్ ఇంటర్నల్లీ ఐ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ సో ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఆన్ దిస్ ఏరియా and related to except block, which is super important, various forms of except block. How to handle exception by single except block, how to handle multiple exceptions by single except block, how to handle exception by using single except block with alias name, how to handle multiple exceptions by using default except block, how to handle multiple exceptions by using generic exception or generic base exception class, followed by programming examples. Right? Next, working with programmer or user defined exception. How to develop my own exception. Predefined exceptions, anyhow, they are there. How to develop my own exception. Steps for developing programmer or user defined exception. Programming examples on that. Multiple case studies with examples, with case studies, with case studies. Right? And ATM project development with programmer defined exceptions. This is the top class index, which I'm going to show. Top class index means we can compare our index in YouTube, XTube, YTube, internet, everywhere else you can check. You will not find. నేను చెప్పానంటే మీరు చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి. You need to check everywhere. And you will feel world top class ultimate industry related exceptions. Shall we start up? Right. So how many of you know Java here? How many of you know Java? You are saying like this. Just to keeping like that. Okay. Boys, girls, do you know, ma? Hmm? You know, right? Studied Java or not? Colleges. No? Okay. Boys, you know Java. You know? Don't know. So who knows Java here? You know, but you don't know. And it's Panikaran Java. That is called P Java. P Java means Atla. So, so now I'm going to tell you this concept. After learning my Python exception, you apply the same concept on Java so that will become U Java. U Java means useful Java. Okay. Now let us. I'll make you just good in 3 4 days. Just good at just extremely good, not normal good, extremely good in this because I'm taking you where case studies plus what project implementation. Shall we start up without late? Let us start with what is the purpose of this exception handling. So I'm going to discuss here. Students, the I'm going to discuss. So exception handling I'm going to start carefully try to follow. Let me first explain the total concept for you. In this case, students, the purpose of exception handling, first purpose, every topic will have the purpose. What is the purpose of functions? Provides code reusability within the same program, performs operations. What is the use of module? Module is a collection of functions, global variables, class names, which will provide code reusability within the same program across the programs, provided both of them belongs to same folder, but not possible to reuse across the folders. What is the use of package, which is a collection of modules which contains global variables, function names, and class names, which provides reusability within the same program, across the programs, across the folders, across the drives, across the environment, wherever you like it, you can access. You have seen already in my class. I'm not telling theory here. Kilometers of theory, I'm not telling like your 22 years education. Here, everything practically you have seen, correct or not? Yes. Now, students, what is the purpose of this exception handling? The purpose of exception handling is to develop to develop robust applications. Robust. Robust means what? Strong. To develop robust applications. Robust is nothing but what? Strong. Robust is nothing but what? Strong applications. What do you mean by these strong applications? Now I want to discuss one by one. How strong the application you develop, I'm going to explain. Shall we start up? In real time, students, don't take much time. Already, indirectly, I already made a base for understanding this exception handling perfectly. In real time, to develop, to develop any project, to develop any project, we need to choose, we need to choose the language. We need to choose the language. That language, by using that language, by using language, we can develop, we can develop, we can develop the programs, we can develop the programs, we can, we can compile the program, we can compile the programs, we can execute 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 the programs, we can develop the programs, we can compile the program, we can execute the programs. Means during this process of development, compilation, and execution, during this process, we get we get three types of errors. Three types of errors. Three types of errors. Generally, in colleges, they say only two types of errors. Correct? What are those? Compile time errors, runtime errors. You know. So, number one is called what? Compile time errors. Compile time errors. Online students, be careful, ma. Compile time errors. Next is called what? Runtime errors. Ila chapter. Runtime errors. Runtime errors. There is one more very dangerous error is there. Logical errors. Logical errors. So, logical errors. What is compile time error? What is logical error? I want to tell you. So first of all, you must know about the error, why it will come, why that error will come, how to sort it out. All those things must be known. So I'm going to tell about the errors importance and which errors deals with the exception related. I want to tell you. So students, I'm going to take it runtime error here. My dear students, these errors occurs, these errors occurs during compilation process. Compilation process. What do you mean by compilation process? I said .py converted into what? .pyc. .pyc. Already you know pyc, no? Pyc contains which code? Byte code. During compilation time, underscore underscore pycache will contain what? .pyc. This is called a compilation. Already I said in the beginning interpretation level I said, and even in the underscore underscore pycache also I said. Good students. Why they occurs? Occurs due to occurs due to due to occurs due to syntaxes not followed. Syntaxes of the language not followed. Because of the syntaxes of the language not followed, you will get which errors? Compile time errors. These errors are solved by whom? Programmers. During which time? Application development time. Application development time only you need to sort it out. You only need to sort it out. Sir, what are the examples of that errors? You already know. Do you know errors in my class? Do you know error names? Tell me what are the error names you know? Syntax error, name error, indentation error, attribute error, key error, module not found error, unbound local error, value error, type error. So many errors you know now. So many errors you know. Let me go to online students. Be careful, ma. I'm continuously talking about the subject. Go to, will show every sentence practically point for you. So I will go to, here I am going to write it. In this case, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to A plus. I am writing only A plus. That means the plus will have the syntax rule saying that left side one object is required, right side also one object is required. Unfortunately, you are not writing the right side one object. This will give you which error? Syntax error. Is it syntax error or not? Who will catch this syntax error? PVM Python interpreter. Python interpreter. Python interpreter checks for what? Syntaxes. So syntax error is an example of what? Syntax error is an example of what? Modu. Compile time error. Python interpreter will catch this error. Interpreter will check the syntaxes. So Modu, top quality. So 11 a.m. Features of Python. Features of Python. Interpretation. Interpretation. Already explained. Compilation process, execution process. In compilation process, Python source code submitted to Python interpreter and it reads the source code line by line, checks for errors by verifying syntaxes. If no errors found, then it compiles into what? Intermediate code, bytecode with an extension .pyc. If errors found, then source code in that, then we get error displayed on the console. What is the error displayed on the console? Syntax error. See, perfect. Go to next step. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to A plus B plus K. K is not there. Python interpreter only will found that it is not there. Which error? Name error. Name error. Name error is also one of the example of what? Compile time error. Okay. Next, space. Print off. Hello Python. Hello Python. I am writing. Which error? Indentation error. Indentation error is also an example of what? Compile time error. Come on. All these things. Anybody ask you tomorrow? Syntax error. Come on. Name error. Name error. Next, indentation error. These are all the examples of what? See how I am writing. Syntax error. The error name contains either one word or more than one word. Error name contains either one word or more than one word. All the first letters of the word must be capital. Syntax error. There are two words are there. First letter is capital S. Error E capital. No spaces to be given. Are you getting it? Indentation error. I capital E capital. Name error. N capital E capital. This notation is known as what? Hungarian notation we can call. This notation is carried by Python people from Java people. From Java programming, this error names he got it. Are you following? So value error, how do I write it? V capital, error E capital. No space to be given. Rudra Prakash. Type error, T capital, type, error E capital. This is a way to write it. No space to be given. Rudra Prakash. T capital, E capital. If you write a type T small error like a child, it is called a blunder. It is a blunder. You need to write like this. All the students in online need to understand now. Are you following? This is called which errors example? Who will solve? Programmer only need to solve. Come to next logical errors. Already this type of errors done. Go to this kind of thing. Logical errors are those which occurs during execution time. Occurs during execution time. Execution time these are going to occur. So that is nothing but .pyc converted into which code? Mission understandable code, binary code. Who will come into picture? PVM will come into picture. Here what is coming into the picture? Python interpreter coming into picture. This kind of thing occurs due to invalid logic. Invalid or what? Wrong logic. Wrong logic used in the program. Used in the program. These errors, these logical errors always gives you and gives which result? Wrong result will come. Wrong result will come to you. Wrong result will come. That type of errors solved by whom? Programmer during which time? Development time. Example I am going to show. What is meant by logical error? A is equal to 10, B is equal to 3. They asked us to calculate. Calculate A plus B by 2. A plus B by 2. They said calculate. This statement received by one programmer P1, received by programmer called P2, received by programmer called P2. What he is doing? He is doing A plus B by 2. Somebody is writing like this. What is the answer is getting? 10 plus 3 by 2. What is the answer is getting? 11.5 is an answer he is getting. 11.5. He is thinking this statement like this. Because you don't know Badmas rule, mathematics, weak knowledge or something. What he understood, they written divided by for A plus B. He wrote it as what? A plus B whole by written in the bracket by 2 written. What is happening? 10 plus 3 by 2 written like that. Bracket will be given more preference. 13 by 2, answer is coming 6.5. Here 10 plus 3 by 2. So slash will be given first preference. That's why this answer came. That's why here this answer came. Both of them got answers only. He is feeling it is the correct answer. He is feeling it is the correct answer. But original answer is what? P2 answer is the original answer. This answer is a wrong answer. Because of what? Wrong logic followed. This is known as which error? Logic error. Because of logic error, we are getting which answer? Wrong result is coming. A plus. So C is equal to A plus B by 2. Print of C. This is an answer is getting. A is 10, B is 2, B is 3, C is equal to A plus B, D is equal to A plus B by what? 2. Print of D, print of D. Got an answer called what? 6.5. This is 11.5. This is a 6.5. This answer is a correct because of logic is correct. This logic is wrong. I think this is more clear for you. So, logical errors are occurring because of wrong logic or invalid logic that gives always which result? Which result? That type of results must be solved by these programmers. So, both these compile time errors and logical errors will occur in front of you. They are called what? During application development only, they are going to come in front of you. Now, the most important thing is called what error? Runtime error. These are also known as what? Implementation errors. Implementation errors. What is this implementation error? What is meant by implementation? Once if I develop my project without compile time errors, once if I develop my program without logical errors, my project is ready to release. Once you release the project, that project is used by the every public people. It comes to the usage of the people. That is known as what? Implementation. Bring the project into use. That is known as which one? Implementation. That time, these errors will come into the picture. So what is these errors? These errors also occurs during which time? Execution time. Next is what is happening? These errors occurs due to these errors occurs due to invalid input. Invalid input or what input? Wrong input. Very, very important. Wrong input. Wrong input. Entered by entered by entered by end user. End user or called what? Application user. End user or application user. Wrong input entered by end user or application user. That time this type of runtime error will come. Direct go to the example. Directly go to ATM project, you take it. ATM project. It is compiled successfully and released also. Executed, execution is under a process. Is under a process. That means it is released also. It is released. It is released. Used by the public. Used by the used by us. Used by us. Us means what? Which users? Come on, don't take it. End users. Also called application users. So far, what we learned in previous topics, how to write the code we learned. Today, what we are learning, how to become a stronger coder. That is the main essence of this exception handling. Able to catch me? How to become a more stronger. You learned bike or car you learned. How to become a strong driver. That is our topic. Understand? So, ATM project you take it or ATM software you take it. When the end user, when the end user enters into ATM center, enters into ATM center, what the end user will do? By mistake, by mistake. That is nothing but which user, which type of error? Syntax error? No. Logic error? No. Which error it is? End user error. It is which error? That mistake is known as what? End user error. That is known as what? Considered as which error? Runtime error. So runtime errors occurs because of which input? Wrong input. Who will give? End user. Example. Come to the example. Don't take much time. Attempting to, attempting to, attempting to, attempting to keep, attempting to, and attempting to keep the card in reverse order. Reverse order. He is keeping the card in reverse order. What is that? Attempting to keep the card in reverse order means is it valid or invalid? Invalid. That is known as which error? Runtime error. Very seriously need to think. From today, you need to think about what? Anything you do the mistake, that is known as which error? Runtime error. Hmm. Attempting to keep the card in the reverse order. Which error it is, ma? Runtime error. Runtime error. Generally, whenever you keep the card in reverse order, if you are a great programmer, if you develop the ATM project so successfully, what is the message will come generally? What is the message comes from the software? If it is a good software, if it is a strong software, remove the card, remove the card and insert properly. Right or not? Insert properly, properly. This is the message which is coming. This message is known as what? User friendly. Which message it is? User friendly. Online students, user friendly. Need to be serious about these words. Are you following? User friendly messages will be coming. User friendly message will be coming. That means to generate this user friendly message, the programmer has written some extra code in which project? ATM project has written some code. So that means he was thinking two angles. One is he may insert properly. One more is what he may insert wrongly. Wrong insertion means what to be considered? Runtime error. When they do runtime error, what you need to give? User friendly message to be given. Then that user will feel your software is a strong or weak or strong. He realized what mistake he did. That type of message, if I am able to do it in my software project, you are called a strong programmer. Some ATMs, you keep the card in reverse order, no message will come, only some beep sound will come. That indicates they did not write the proper code in the ATM software development. In all present softwares, in earlier days, when you see some of the ATMs will not give this message, some of the ATMs will give this message. So, to give this user friendly message, the programmer has written this runtime ATM project so nicely by using which concept? Exception handling was used. Understand? So, to give this user friendly message, what concept was used? Which concept was used? Exception handling concept was used. Getting me or not? Yes. Next, online students, are you getting? Students, come on faster. Now, next, he removed it. He removed the card and attempting to keep the card in reverse order, removed and kept in proper order only. Next, attempting to enter what? Wrong pin. He entered wrong pin. Immediately, what will happen? Invalid pin. Try again. What message will come? Come on. Message. Message will come. So don't take much time. Message. What is the message? Invalid pin. Try again. Try again. Try again. What is this message is called? User friendly error message. User friendly message is coming. How this message is coming? In the ATM project, the ATM developer has thought of what? The end user may enter correct pin, may enter invalid pin also. When they enter invalid pin, which message is coming? Invalid pin, try again. How this message is possible to generate? Using exception handling. That means when the programmer I am developing the code, I will think in two ways. One is valid input, give the result. Invalid input, tell them which message is entered wrong. That is called making your project as robust. Are you getting my point? So now I'm going to write one more example. Okay, you removed ATM card and you put properly only, entered your pin corrective only. Now you are choosing what? Withdraw. Withdraw option you are choosing. Now what you are entering? You are entering withdraw amount which is more than your existing balance. More than your existing balance. Attempting. If extra is coming, you will enjoy. Just attempting. Extra amount you are entering. What is the message is coming immediately? What is the message? Insufficient funds. Insufficient funds. Insufficient funds. Your account does not have proper funds. Read Python notes, it will say. And it won't say read Python notes. Then చెప్తున్నా మీకు. Because if you read Python notes, you'll have proper funds. Otherwise, what? Insufficient funds only. So, how this message is coming? How this user-friendly message is coming? How this user-friendly message will come? By using which concept? Exception handling. You tell me, withdraw amount more than existing balance is which error? Runtime error. Entering wrong PIN number is which error? Runtime error. Any end user enters which error? Wrong input. That is considered as which error? Runtime error. That runtime error in Python, in Java, C++, majority of the languages, we call it as a exception. Spell out. So what is an exception? Runtime error. What is runtime error? When the end user enters which input? Invalid input, we get which error? Runtime error. That runtime error in Python is known as what? Exception. What is exception? Every runtime error is called exception. Understand? Good. So from now onwards, if you enter wrong input, which one will come? Exception will come. Reading Python notes daily, job will come, result will come. If you don't read Python notes daily, what will come? Exception will come. Life is also one Python program. Life is also one Python program. If you do properly, successful life, output is perfect. If anything wrong, that is called exception will be coming. I think you are reaching you. How many errors? Wrong syntaxes. Which error? Compile time error. Wrong logics. Logic error. Wrong input entered by end user to my project. Known as what? Exception. Valid input must give valid output. Invalid input must give runtime error, which is known as exception. Clear or not clear? Very good. Dear students, whenever runtime error is occurring or exception is occurring, whenever runtime error or exception is occurring, online students, when exception or runtime error is coming, occurs, whenever runtime error or exception occurs, then by default, do you know students, by default, PVM generates, which message you know students? Technical error message will generate students. Which message will generate? Technical error message will generate. Who will understand that message? Programmer only can understand. Who will not understand? End user. Understandable by who? Programmer, but not by, come on, end user, but not by end user. When end user is not understanding the message, will he think that project is strong or weak? Weak project. If beep sound is coming, as a end user, I don't know what is the meaning of that sound. If my machine says what? My software says remove the code and insert properly, then I will understand that something went wrong from the end user side. He will think that that ATM project is the best ATM software. Next time onwards, he will go to that ATM center only. Are you able to follow? So, coming to this important point, this by default, whenever the end user enters something wrong, we will get an exception. Technical error message is coming, which is understandable by programmer, but not by end user. This is not a recommended process in industry. Industry recommends what? Come on, what is your software industry recommends? Recommends to convert, which messages? Technical error messages into which messages? user-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages by using which concept? By using exception handling. The word itself says handling. What are you handling? Exception. Will give you which message? So what is exception? What is exception handling? That is an important. What is exception? Every runtime error is known as what? Exception. Exceptions by default gives which message? Which are understandable by whom, but not by whom? Is it a recommended process in software industry? No. Recommended to convert what? Recommends to convert what? Technical error messages into user-friendly error messages by using which concept? So what is the definition of exception handling? The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error message is called what? Exception handling. Two words you need to get it. What is exception? What is exception handling? If I don't read Python notes, exception will come and unemployed. That is called technical error message. If you read notes well, you will get the job. Getting the job is called successful output. Understand my point? So tell me, when do you get the runtime error? When the end user enters which input? Wrong input or invalid input. We'll get which error? Runtime error. Every runtime error is called what? Very good. Exceptions gives what messages by default? Technical error messages. Who cannot understand directly? End user. Who will understand? Is it a recommended process in industry? No. Recommended to convert into by using which concept? Good. What is the use of exception handling? Converting technical error messages into user-friendly error message. A best example I will tell you. Go there. See, my dear students. Simple example. 10 by A is equal to 10. B is equal to 0. B is equal to 2. C is equal to A by B. My PVM will take the valid input 10, valid input 2. 10 by 2 is called 5 is an answer is coming. Print of what? C. Answer is coming 5. Same thing. A is equal to 10. A is equal to 10. B is equal to 0. C is equal to what? A by B. What is this A by B? Valid input 10, okay. Invalid input called 0 because according to mathematics, 10 by 0 is going to become what? Infinity. That is a divide by 0. Already I said zero division error. I said zero division error is called one type of X. Zero division error is not a syntax error, is not a compile time error, is not a logical error. It is an error at what time? Runtime. Who can take care about that? PVM. So by default, when you enter invalid input, by default we will get which message? Technical error message is coming. Are you following me? Technical error message is coming. If you are a very good programmer, what you will say? Don't enter 0 for denominator. How to do that? There is a syntax. What is the syntax? Try. I will introduce very shortly. What I will do? C is equal to A by B. There I will write it except these error names are so important for you. That's why day one onwards I said you errors to remember. Print off what I will say. Hmm. What is the message? Don't enter 0 for denominator. Don't enter 0 for denominator. Which message is coming here? Come on. User friendly error message. Which message I got here? Technical error message. How I handled my exception? I suppressed my technical error message. End user cannot understand. End user understandable message I gave because of the syntax called what? Try, accept, and everything. Don't worry about the try and accept. What is exception handling? I am telling. This is called exception occur. Which message came? Technical. I handled my exception. Which message came? How to handle and all those things I'll explain. First of all, this message to be understandable here. This explanation you need to understand. What exception handling will do, you must understand. Are you following? So overall conclusion from now onwards is what? Valid input. When you say to the project, you will get which message? Valid output will come or not? Invalid input if I pass it to the project according to the industry standard. Which message to be given? User friendly message to be given. By default, which message will come? Technical error message will come. I apply exception handling and gives you which message? Is it clear up to here? So first of all, you need to know which error will come, which time. That is an important. Whether you work on any project, even 10 years, 20 years and all, three errors will be there, overall things with you. One is compile time errors because of syntax is not followed, because of you don't know subject. Number two, logical error. If you don't know how to design the logics, you don't know how to practice and all. And one more is what you developed good in logics, good in compilation, everything you developed the project. And you installed the project in the client area. Clients are entering which input? Wrong input. And if you developed your project very nicely, strongly, your project will say what message, what error they are committing, your program will tell. If you develop the project like that, they will appreciate your strongness of the project. If you did not develop with their standards of errors to recognize, that project is called what? Weak project. Did you understand my point? So online students, is it clear, ma'am? Is my description is clear for you? So I'm going to open one small concept for you. Types of errors I will show. The types of errors. If I type it now, it will be it takes some time. Types of errors I will show you here. So all of you try to follow. You need to. The purpose of exception handling is that to develop or build robust application. Chadavandi all, read out. All the students in the online you need to, because if I am reading out, you are sitting quiet and calm. I am not reading. I already explained. Come on, read out. Project, choose a language. We develop the programs, compile, execute various programs. During this process, we get three types of errors: compile time errors, logical errors, runtime errors. Online students need to read out compile time errors, compilation time because of syntaxes not followed during program development, solved by the programmers during development time. These are the errors comes under compile time. Logical errors during execution time because of invalid or wrong logic. Use you wrong results solved by the programmer only. Next, come on, read out all of you. Read out. Why these errors are coming? Due to wrong input, invalid input entered by end user or application users. When runtime errors occurs, by default, all languages use technical error message, which are understandable by programmers but not by end users. This is not recommended process in real time. According to industry standard, it is recommended to display always user-friendly error messages for making the application robust by using exception handling. This is runtime error is nothing but implementation error. One note I am giving. When the end user enters valid input to the project, then the project gives successful result. When the end user enters invalid input to the project, then the project must display user-friendly error message by using exception handling. That means you take your mobile, when your class is over, you will unlock your home screen or not. They will ask you what pattern or pin you will enter. If you enter wrong pattern or wrong pin, what it will give? Invalid pin or invalid pattern, try again. That means in the mobile software, they have written the code or not. Which code they written? Exception handling code they written. By thinking what? They may enter valid pattern, they may enter invalid pattern. If valid pattern is entered, home screen will be shown. If you enter invalid pattern, error message will be shown. Same thing here also written. Valid input time, what will happen? Invalid input time, what must happen? I said to do that. Online students, is it clear up to here? Respond all the students in the online who are all followed me so far. You need to respond. So this is clear, I hope so. Now I am entering into the further. What are the building points? What are the building points you need to remember? So I'm going to enter into these points are over. Now I'm going to say some building points. Some building points you need to know. Building points. So first few points are clear. What is the first point which I said? Invalid input. Invalid input gives which error? Come on. Right. Second, runtime errors gives which message by default? Very good. By default, which message? Technical error message. I am writing shortcuts here. Technical error messages. Now, every runtime error is called what? Very good. Every runtime error is known as what? Exception. Exception it is called. Good. In the bracket, I will write invalid input. Invalid input gives which error? Runtime error. Runtime error. Runtime error is known as what? Exception. Exception. Obviously, every invalid input gives, come on, gives exception. Every invalid input gives exception. Every invalid input gives exception. I hope you are following me. Right. Now, since runtime error gives a technical error message, obviously exceptions also by default gives which message? Technical error message only. Correct or not? So, how do you handle these exception messages? By using which concept term? So, definition of what here? Exception handling. Definition of exception handling. Be careful. Don't be passive. Come on. What is this? The process of converting. The process of converting technical error messages. Technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages. Error messages is known as what? Exception handling. Exception handling. I hope you are understanding the meaning of what is exception handling. Is it clear? Right, good. Online students, up to here, I hope it is clear. Quickly, now I am telling one important point here. What happens when an exception occurs? What happens when an exception occurs? You can directly say technical error message will come, but I want to tell little deeper and deeper. So number one, number two, number three. Through some example I want to tell. Through some example I want to tell. What happens when an exception occurs? I want to tell you these deep points. Go to the program. Normal text, others here, Python here, online students. Program for calculating division of two numbers. Division of two numbers by accepting from keyboard. By accepting from where? Keyboard. By accepting from keyboard. So there I'm going to write it. What is that? div example1.py. div example1.py. There I'm going to take students. Input of enter first value. Enter first value. So next enter second value. Enter second value. This is enter second value. So I'm going to write it. Next is I'm going to do what type they and BR? STR. So STR by STR not possible. Which error? PVM will receive the value for A, no problem. No compile time error, no logic error. B also no problem. PVM will execute line number 3, line number 4, line number 5, unable to do. Why? You are entering what? Wrong operation. You are doing wrong operation. So anything wrong, it is going to be giving which one? చెప్పాను కదమ్మా ఇప్పుడే. Anything valid, result will come. Anything invalid, exception will come. These two spell out yourself. Spell out by yourself. Anything valid, result will come. Anything invalid, exception will come. If I read well, job will come. If I don't read well, nothing will come. Nothing will come means exception will come. ఇది సింపుల్ మెకానిజం ఇప్పుడు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ఎనీథింగ్ ఎంటర్ కరెక్ట్, యూ సీ వాట్ అవుట్పుట్. ఎనీథింగ్ ఎంటర్ ఇన్వాలిడ్, యూ విల్ గెట్ వాట్ ఎక్సెప్షన్. సో ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు don't forget this slogan. You need to remember 11 a.m. I'm creating one folder here, exception handling. Exceptions I'm going to say. So there I'm going to take up notes here. So in this place I'm going to save it. So here students, here you say, so here exceptions here, in this place you save it. Coming to, I'll continue the code. Be careful about it. Here I'm going to run this e colon kvr python 11 a.m. cd exceptions here. Run this code ma py, this one. You are going to get 10 and then 2. 10 and 2 is which type? 3 and 4 is perfectly executing. But here 10 is like this. 10 within the double quotes, it is an str type. By 2 within the double quotes, it will give you which error? Type error. Type error will be coming. Type error related message will come. What the type error is coming? Unsupported operation. This is a technical error message, which is not recommended. What happens when an exception is occurring? Here an exception is occurring or not? Why exception is occurring? String by string division is a wrong. That's why exception occurs. So when the line number 5 exception is occurring, what happens internally? PVM stops executing the program. PVM comes out of the program flow and immediately generating which message? Technical error message. When you enter PIN number wrong, the ATM software stops the process. And a card will come out and gives the message called what? Invalid process. Yes or no? What happens when an exception occurs? PVM abnormally stops the program execution. Abnormally means what? In middle of the program only it stops. 1 to 20 lines are there. 10th line problem is occurring. It stops immediately. That is called abnormal termination. Second, PVM comes out of the program flow. Third, generates immediately which message? Technical error message will be generated. That technical error message will be like this. This message is generated like this. We don't want this message. What is that I want to give? User-friendly error message I want to give. To do that user-friendly message, you must know which type of error is occurring. To give the user-friendly error message, you must know which type of error is occurring. That's why from the day one onwards, I'm training you with what? Error names. Are you following? So today, I will simply write it what? Try. Don't worry about the try and all. I will tell you that. I will simply write what here? Except type error. See how I am writing T capital, E capital and etc. Please check the type. Please check the type of value. Please check the type of value. Execute it. Now say 10 and 2. What the message is coming? Please check the type of value. What is this message is called? User friendly. What is this message is called? Which one end user prefers? User friendly. So definitely you need to know what is try and what is accept or not. Yes. First of all, are you following me now? What happens when exception is occurring? Whenever an exception is occurring, 3 steps takes place. Number 1, program execution abnormally terminated. Rasan. First I will mention it. Program execution abnormally terminated. Abnormal termination means what? Middle of the termination. Successful termination means beginning to last if it executes. That is called successful termination. Program execution terminated abnormally terminated. Number 2, PVM comes out of what? Program execution. PVM comes out of program execution. Next, PVM generates what? Technical error message. Technical error message by default. By default, PVM generates technical error message. I will write here. By default, PVM generates what message? Technical error message, which is not recommended. Recommended to give which message? That's why I wrote this message related code, try and accept written or not. If you want to write this message, you must know the name of the error. This error name plays a vital role in today. Shall I tell the one more point? Online students, are you following these 3 points? Respond everybody. Is these 3 points clear? Now I am going to introduce an important point here. Students, if you want to do this abnormal termination, to make it to come out of it and to make it to generate these three things internally, to perform step number one, comma, step number two, and step number three. Step number three. Step number three to perform. Internally, PVM creates. Internally, PVM creates an object of. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. Appropriate exception class. That is called error class name. That is called error class names. Error name. All our error names which we learned so far are called classes, they are called. Which classes? Exception classes. For example, you got which error now? Which error you got it? Type error. What is type error? So far I said error name. Error name is nothing but exception only. Today I am attaching one word called what? Every error name is called what? Exception. What is the exception internally treated as? This is called a class name. Let me go to the Python here. Help of which error? Type error. Type error. Type error. I wrote it. See students, what is the type error here? Class. Type error is one of the class. Now you just conclude immediately. All types of errors you learn are called what? Are called X classes. Which classes? Not normal classes. They are called exception classes. What is exception? I said runtime error. Whenever you are doing the string by string wrong operation, what is occurring? Type error. Type error is called what? Exception. That means whenever an exception is occurring in my program, what is created? Object of appropriate exception. Which object created in my program just now? Which object is created just now in our program? Type error was created or not? Type error was created in my program. Here, if you take it, whenever I entered wrong, which object was created? That means when the exception is occurring, abnormal termination coming out of the program execution to do this generating system error message, to do this kind of three activities, internally PVM create what? Object of appropriate exception class. If you want to sleep, S is equal to sleep off. What is that S? Object. Of which class? Sleep class. L is equal to list of. S is equal to set of. D is equal to dict of. What is that? L, S are called objects. Of which class? List class, set class, something like that. If I want to, this is undigestible point for you. You know, beginning, everything will be done in the form of object only. Python means object related. If you want to do these three things, you must create an object. Which class object? Exception class object, because this is related to errors. Which errors? Runtime error. So abnormal termination, if you want to have it, there are some special classes are designed in Python that are called error names. All error names are called what today? exception classes, index error, key error, value error, type error, unbound local error, module not found error. They're all called what? Exception class names whose object will be created when an exception is occurring. That's why I'm writing one point here. Sixth point, when an exception occurs, when an exception occurs, when an exception occurs, what happens? When PVM creates, PVM creates an object of, ఇది మీకు రాకపోతే ఇంకా మీరు వేస్ట్. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. Appropriate exception class. What are the appropriate exception classes? I am writing. What is that? Division by zero. Division by zero. Already said to you. 10 by 0, 20 by 0. Division by 0. Which one? Zero division error. What is the zero division error? What is the zero division error? Exception class name. How do you see? Mala help kellandi. Help. Already you know help. Help of what? Zero division error. Zero division error. Error. So you do see here. Zero division error is called what? Class. All exception names are called what? Except all error names are called exception classes. Next is called what? Invalid conversions. Invalid conversions. Which error? Value error. Invalid operations. Invalid operations are nothing but what? Invalid arguments. Invalid arguments. Which error? Type error. Next is called what? Key not found. Key not found. Which error? Key error. Key error. Module not, module errors. Module errors or module not found. Module not found. Which error? Module not found error. Module not found error. Next is called what? Global variable modifications. Global variable modifications. Without which keyword? Global keyword. Without global variable modification. Without which one? Without global keyword. Global keyword. Which error? Unbound local error. Unbound local error. Next is called what? One more thing is what? Key not found, key error, value error. Next is what more? Wrong attribute names. Wrong attribute names. Which error? Attribute error. Attribute error. Like that, I am going to show you lot of error names. Why I said all the error names already to you? To make this topic easy. To take any, why you don't know exception handling? Java you studied. Nobody knows exception handling. Java student direct adagandi poi. You ask directly Java students who are training in this training institute. They don't know exceptions. You won't select చేసుకోండి. You select one person. Ask all, tell me error names in Java you say. They don't know anything. And I said all these error names. All the error names are called what? Exception. So I'm going to consider as seventh point I am writing. Hence, every exception is considered as object of appropriate exception class. Division by zero is a problem, which is considered as what? Object of which class? Zero division error. Invalid conversions is an object of value error. Already said typecasting time. The invalid arguments are operations. Type error. Positional arguments problem. I already shown you type error. Keys are not found in the dictionary, but you are using that key. Which error? Key error. So any kind of this problem is coming, whose objects are created. I hope that this is more clear for you. So I'm going to open some building points in exception handling. These points are very important to build your programming perfectly. Come on, start, read. When the application user enters wrong or invalid input, then we get runtime error. That is, invalid input gives runtime error. All runtime errors by default gives technical error messages. That is invalid input is called runtime error. Runtime errors gives a technical error message. Definition of exception. Every runtime error is called exception. Invalid input gives runtime error. Runtime error is called exception. Hence, all invalid inputs are considered as exception. From now onwards, when you enter invalid input, you will get what? Exception. All exceptions by default gives technical error message. Why? Exception is known as what? Runtime error. Runtime errors gives you which messages? So obviously exceptions gives you which messages? Definition of what? Exception handling. The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is called exception handling. Next, when the exception occurs in the Python program, the following steps takes place internally. Program execution is abnormally terminated. PVM comes out of program flow. PVM by default generates technical error message. To do these three steps, to do step 1, step 2, step 3, PVM create an object of with respect to an exception class. What are the exception classes? All our error names are called what? Exceptions. When an exception occurs in the Python program, PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. This is a very important statement, 8th and 9th. Hence, all exceptions are considered as object of exception class. Note, all our error names are called exception class names. I shown you the proof also, help of index error, help of zero division error. All that helps I shown. Clear up? Right, online students? Is these points are clear? Respond. What Guido van Rossum said, you read Python, sleep with Python, everything do with Python. If you do those things, we will waste our time because that low level thinking we should not go. We have to think about something high and high. Okay, let us go to that. So this is come to the point. So when the exception occurs in Python program, okay, this part is done. All our error names are called what? Exception class names. So I will move to the further. Next, these names I wrote now here. These names. These are called what I said? Exception class names. You developed, already developed. They are called predefined exceptions we can call. What they are? Predefined exceptions. Who developed these predefined exceptions? Come on. Developed by Python language developers. Python language developers. Developed by Python language developers. Available in where? Available in which software? Python software already present because we are using help and all. Developed by Python software. Available in Python software. Why you are using? Used by Python programmers. Python programmers for dealing with which problems? Universal problems. Universal problems in the sense division by zero. Whether you are getting or I am getting, whoever is getting division by zero problem is a universal problem or not. Calculators, you take it. 10 divided by 0. That will give you what? Division by 0 problem. What is the class in Python? Zero division error. Why to remember this class name in Python to give my own user-friendly message? I need to give which message? Exception class name you need to remember to give which message? User-friendly. Suppose if you don't remember this one, you cannot give which message? User-friendly error message. You have seen already in my class. Please check the type of the value. So that type of message you want to give, you need to know which one. Name of the error you need to know. That's why you must know about what? Like a doctor. For every problem, you need to remember the tablet name. The tablet name is something like a exception class name you need to know. Then only you can give which message? User-friendly error message. If you want to give user-friendly error message, you must know compulsory what name? Exception class name. These class names are not going to be particular. These are universal problems you are taking. What are the universal problems? Division by zero, invalid conversions. So many number of meanings I explained in the class already. Those things are comes under what? Predefined exceptions. Similarly, like that, there is one more exception which is a very important area. programmer defined exceptions. Programmer or user or custom defined exceptions. Custom defined exceptions. Custom defined exception. This is a very, very important area. You go to ATMs. Whenever I enter wrong pin is called what? Invalid input. Every invalid input is called what? Exception. Do you have the exception for wrong pin in Python software? No. Who need to develop the class name for wrong pin? Programmer. That's why it is known as what? Programmer defined. So what is that? Attempting to enter what? Invalid pin. Attempting to enter invalid amount. Attempting to enter invalid username and password in Gmail. Attempting to keep the card in reverse order. These are all called exceptions. Exception occurring means you need to create an object. You need to have what name? Exception class name. That exception class names are not there in which software? That type of class name who need to develop? Programmer. That are there in your project. For common purpose you are using, for common problems purpose you are using. That is known as what? Programmer defined exception, which are very, very important. I will explain this how to develop it in coming classes. Today we are learning about what? Programmer defined exception. Are you able to follow? Any problem comes in my project, if that class name is not there in predefined Python software, I will develop my own class. ATM software, you take it. Login problem. I need to develop my own exception class. PIN problem. I need to develop my own exception class. Amount more than entering the existing balance. It is I need to develop my own exception class. I will develop all of them. So I will show you where I will develop it and how I will be. It's a great concept, students. If you go to my exceptions here, if I go to this ATM project, ATM EXCEPT, if you see, I'm developing my own deposit error, withdraw error, insufficient fund error. What they are called here? Classes. That means I will develop my own exceptions. I'll explain so many things for you. Understand? So now I'm going to show you what? I'm going to show you one small concept here. That is, what is that? Types of exceptions in Python. Come on, read out all of you. How many types? Two types. Number one, programmer or predefined or built-in exceptions. Programmer or user or custom defined exception. Start. Predefined or built-in exceptions are those which are already developed by Python language developers and available in Python software, and they are used by Python language programmers for dealing with a universal problem. Some of the universal problems are invalid index error, invalid conversions, value error, invalid number of arguments or operations, type error, passing invalid key error, division by zero problems, zero error. All our previous error names are called runtime errors. They are called what? Exception class names. All our error names which we learned. Today we are feeling easy because already we learned in the class. They are known as what? Exception class names. Is it you developed? Already developed? They are known as what? You have seen already. Class. I developed my own things as a class, withdraw error, deposit error, insufficient fund error. In the class, I'm going to tell you that. Similarly, programmer or user defined. These exceptions, programmer defined, developed by Python programmers, means you people are developing. They are available in your project. They are available in which software? They are available in your project and they are used by other team members of the same project. They deals with which problems? Project common problems. These are dealing with which problems? Universal problems. Project related common problems. Project related common problems occurring in the project. Some of the common problem, attempting to enter invalid username and password, attempting to enter invalid PIN in ATMs, attempting to withdraw more amount than existing balance, attempting to enter invalid names of the people, places, and product names. These are all called what? Wrong inputs. Wrong inputs means what? Exception. Exception means to create an object. Object require exception class. But exception classes are not there in which software? Python software. Where they are available in Python project, they are available. That's why we need to go for what? programmer defined exceptions we need to take it. Is it clear? So this, how to develop it, there is a separate explanation I am going to give. In our index, there is a separate explanation. How to develop programmer defined exception. So I hope that you are understanding the types of exceptions. Let me come to my program. Let me finish this task. So convert what now? Convert what? A, B into which type? Into which type? Int type. Which type? Int type or float type, whatever you feel it. So I'm going to write it. A is equal to float type or int type. Float type I'm going to do. Come on. Here I'm going to write it. X is equal to float of A. Online students. Y is equal to what? Float of B. Float of B. And ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు ఆయన? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? లేవు సార్. ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? మొబైల్ చూసుకుంటున్నావు కదా? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు మరి ఇటు పెట్టుకొని? ఆ? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు చెప్పమంటే ఇటు 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 అన్నావు. ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? ఆ? ఎందుకు వస్తావు క్లాస్కి అసలు నువ్వు? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు చెప్పు అసలు ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు ఆయన? కొద్దిగానే ఉండాలనా లేదా నీకు? పేరెంట్స్ ఇక్కడికి పంపించారు నీకు పైసలు ఇచ్చి ఇక్కడ ఫీజు కట్టమని. నువ్వు వచ్చి ఇక్కడ చేసేదేందో మొత్తం ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? ఆ? ఏం చేయట్లేదా? గౌతమ బుద్ధుడిగాను? ఆ? అరే యోగి వేమనవా? నువ్వు ఎవరు అసలు? హూ ఆర్ యూ? స్వామి వివేకానందవా? గౌతమ బుద్ధుడివా? అశోక చక్రవర్తివా? యోగి వేమనవా? ఎవరు నువ్వు అసలు? ఎవరాయన? ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు అతను చెప్పు ఒకసారి. ఇక్కడ జరగటు. ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు చెప్పు. అంటే బయట పంపిస్తాను నేను. డోంట్ వేస్ట్ మై టైం బికాస్ అదర్స్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ డిస్టర్బ్డ్. నేను ఆల్రెడీ చూస్తున్నాను. నిన్ను డిస్టర్బ్ చేసినా నువ్వేమి నా లైన్ లోకి వచ్చేటట్టు కనిపించట్లే. యు ఆర్ నాట్ గెటింగ్ ఇన్ మై లైన్ ఆఫ్ కంట్రోల్. బాడీ పెంచడం కాదు, ఇది పెరగాలి బ్రెయిన్. ఏం చేస్తారా మీరంతా? రేపు పెద్ద అయిన తర్వాత ఏం చేస్తావు? ఒక 2 years అయితే పెళ్లి చేస్తారు నీకు. ఏం చేస్తావు నువ్వు అసలు? ఏం చేస్తావు? ఏం చేస్తున్నావు ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు? ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు ఆయన? బుక్ చూసుకుంటున్నాడా? బుక్లో ఏముంది అసలు? ఏమైనా ఉంది అందులో? అంత మర్చుకున్నాడు చూడ. బుక్ చూడ ఎట్లుంది, అంత ఫోల్డ్ చేసి పెట్టుకున్నాడు. మళ్ళీ అంత మంచి మంచి షూ వేసుకున్నావు. ఎంత ఈ షూ? 3000? 3 or 4? 3000? 2000? 1000? 5000? ఎందుకు వేస్ట్ చేస్తావా నా టైం? చదువుకుంటున్నావు? అడిపో వెనక్కి పోయి నిలబడు. వెనక్కి జరుగు. ఇక్కడ కూర్చుందిరా లేవండి. ఇక్కడ కూర్చుందిరా. మళ్ళీ నేను కింద కూర్చోబెట్టి బాగుంటుంది. అక్కడ నిలబడు. వెనక్కి పోయి నిలబడు. గో బ్యాక్. నిల్చోట. నాకు పిచ్చి కోపం వస్తుంది చూస్తే. నేను ఎలా ఎక్స్ప్లెయినింగ్ ఎక్సెప్షన్ హ్యాండ్లింగ్ యూ పీపుల్ వాచ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాడు. యోగి వేమన్లా కూర్చున్నట్లు. యోగి వేమన్ తెలుసు కదా, చూపియాలి ఇక్కడ ఏమన్నా. నువ్వు నాకు అట్లే కనిపిస్తున్నావు. X is equal to float of A, Y is equal to float of B. So what is this conversion called? What is this? Converting A and B into float type. So Z is equal to what? X by Y. Z is equal to X by Y. Are you getting? So next, what is that? Z is equal to X by Y. I will print this value here. Print of value of X is equal to value of X, or first value is equal to comma what? X. Next is called what? Second value is equal to second value is equal to what? Y. Next is called what? Z. Print. What is the result? Division is equal to what? Z. Now I will say program execution ended. Program execution ended. Here I am writing program execution ended. This is called program execution. Starting also I will write. Starting. Program execution started. Program execution started. Started. div, this is started. This is my total execution. Run this code. Run this code. So, which tool is used to compile the Python program? Which tool is used to execute Python program? Hmm? Which tool is used to execute the Python program? మీ పేరెంట్స్ చూడ నాకు బాధ అనిపిస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే పైసలు ఇచ్చి పంపించారు నీకు ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ హైదరాబాద్ లో కట్టి పైథాన్ నేర్చుకోమని. నువ్వేం చేస్తున్నావు? అది నాకు బాధ. నువ్వు చేసిన దానికి ఏం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. మీ పేరెంట్స్ గురించి ఆలోచిస్తున్నాను. థింకింగ్ అబౌట్ యువర్ పేరెంట్స్. నువ్వు ఇప్పటికి ఎన్ని లక్షలు వేస్ట్ చేసావు ఇప్పటికి ఇంజనీరింగ్ లో? వాళ్ళకి తెలుసా నువ్వేం చేసేది ఇక్కడ? ఉం? ఏమైనా సుమతి పద్యాలు రాస్తున్నావు కూర్చొని? ఆ? సమాజానికి ఏమైనా యూజ్ అవుతుందా నువ్వు చేసే పని? యూజ్ అవుతా? ఈజ్ ద పబ్లిక్ యూస్ఫుల్ టు వాట్ యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్? ఎందుక? బిల్డ్ యువర్ కెరియర్, మేక్ యువర్ పేరెంట్స్ టు బి హ్యాపీ. సో py, come to this place, execute. It is called what? నీతో మాట్లాడతాను, నేను తప్పు చేస్తాను. ఐఎమ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్ ఇన్ పైథాన్ కమాండ్ ప్రాంప్ట్. py. So my program is this one. Program execution started. Entering 10, entering 2. Which input I'm entering? Valid input. Gives you what output? Valid output. Already mentioned here. Already when the user enters valid input, gives what result? Successful result. Successful result. So here, first value, second value, output is coming. Valid output is coming. Valid input gives successful result or not? Now you enter. Online students, 10 and 0. Which input? Invalid input. Go to my program. What is happening? PVM. Line number 3, no problem. 4, no problem. 5, no problem. 7, no problem. 8, no problem. 9th, no problem. 10th, no problem. 11th, there is a problem. Because the 10 by 0 gives you what? Exception. Exception means what? Abnormal termination. Comes out of the program flow. Generates which message? User-friendly error message. What is abnormal flow? Abnormal termination. Line number 12 and line number 13 will not execute. Has already executed completely earlier. Now it is going to give you abnormal termination. Line number 11, abnormal termination. Which message? Technical error message. Abnormal termination. Line number 11 only abnormally terminated. That is the meaning of it written. So, ikkada program execution abnormal comes out of it, generates which message? Technical error message. At which line? Line number line. See, not execution ended. Did you understand? Which message? Which exception? Zero division error. Online students need to follow. Next, say 10 and then next 2x, 2x, 2x. Invalid input. So go to the program. What is happening? Line number 1, 2, 3. Ikkada program. Line number 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Unable to convert. Unable to convert. Will it convert? No. It will be stopping immediately and generating system technical error abnormally terminated. Comes out of it. Immediately generates which exception? Technical error message. Come out of it. Which line? Line number 8. See that? Which error? Value error. So whenever an exception is occurring, line number 8, which object created? Value error. Value error is what? Exception class name. Getting or not? Right? So next, I will say one more thing. 10 KVR. I will say next 4. Which line is the problem now? Line number 7 is the problem. Other statements will not execute. 7th line is a problem. Value error. These are all called which messages? Technical error messages. Are you following me? So these kind of here which exception? Zero division error. Here which exception? Value error. How to generate the technical error message from user friendly error message? How to generate? It is nothing but handling the exceptions. That I will tell you in the next class. There is a Monday class I will go for explaining. So today we learned about the first part, the concept part. Next Monday when I am coming, handling the exception. Handling means what? Converting technical error messages into user friendly by using these kind of keywords. Don't miss on Monday. Very, very important. Suppose if you go to home for festival or something, you attend online. Until I declare holidays, don't go to holidays by your own holidays. ఇక్కడికి వచ్చినప్పుడు కూడా హాలిడేనే నీకు. నేను చెప్పింది వినకపోతే బ్యాగ్ మంచిది ఉంది, మంచి చెప్పుల్స్ కొనుక్కున్నాం, మీ పేరెంట్స్ కొనిచ్చారు, మంచి షర్టు ప్యాంట్ ఇప్పించారు, ఫీజు కట్టావు, వినట్లే. బ్యాగ్ చూపి ఒకసారి నాకు. నీదేనా బ్యాగ్ అది? ఆ? నీది కదా? ఎవరిది అది బ్యాగ్? అయిందే కదా? హిందీయా? ఈజీ హిందీ స్టూడెంట్. యూ కమ్ హియర్. ఆర్ యూ హిందీ స్టూడెంట్? ఆర్ యూ హిందీ స్టూడెంట్? ఆర్ యూ రియల్లీ హిందీ? డోంట్ నో తెలుగు? సిట్ డౌన్ దేర్. అరే, ఐ థాట్ ఈజ్ అ తెలుగు స్టూడెంట్. ఎనీ తెలుగు ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్? దట్స్ వై. Really, I did not thought that he is a Hindi student. I thought that he is a Telugu student. I talked about everything in Telugu. You did not understand anything. You understood? I can't understand. So already your parents paid a lot of fees, schools, colleges. Still you are not doing properly. What is the use? Do something more to your parents. Try to do something, Telugu students. So anyhow, we'll stop it. We'll stop this part. Monday class I will go for these points I will explain. Okay. So I will post this now, read well, and then come to the class. Thank you. Carry on.